In this video, we will discuss about narrative techniques. When we talk about narrative techniques, let's break down the two words. Narrative has something to do with story, and techniques is about method, way, strategy, or approach, or a style. This is to make it interesting. So, when we talk about narrative techniques, we are looking at the different methods or tools writers use to tell a story and make it interesting. There are 6 techniques: description, dialogue, flashback, foreshadowing, pacing, and perspective. Now, here is the table of the techniques with the meaning, the keyword, and the examples. You might want to take a screen capture, take a picture, or copy this as your lecture. Let's discuss them one by one. When we talk about description, think of it as painting a picture. It gives details to help readers imagine the people, place, or events. The clue is when you see details in descriptions, we are talking about description. Here's the example. The old house had broken windows, dusty furniture, and squeaky wooden floors. So when you hear this, you know it's describing how the house looks like. It has broken windows, furniture that are dusty, and wooden floor that is squeaky. Second is the dialogue. The keyword is when you see conversation, people talking. So you may need to see names and quotation marks to identify that these are dialogues. Sometimes you see it like this one, let's go home, in quotation marks, and then comma, Anna, or sometimes you see it with a colon and the dialogue. Nevertheless, you will see a name on it and what the person said. Now, flashback has something to do with something going back or remembering something happening in the past. So when you see details about memories or past events, these are flashback. Now, Carlo remembered his first day of school. The word remember tells you that it's something that happened in the past. Next is foreshadowing. It's like fortune telling. It gives you the hint on what will happen next. So when you see warning signs or hints, that is foreshadowing. In this sentence, dark clouds gathered as the children left the house. So when you have dark clouds and then people are leaving, it gives you a hint that most probably rain will come or something will happen about a shift in the weather. Pacing has something to do with the speed of the events. It can be fast or slow. So when you see something changing in the pace or the speed, that is pacing. Look at this one. He ran, jumped, climbed, and escaped in seconds or within seconds. This signifies that something is really fast-paced. It happened very quickly. So quickly has something to do with the speed. And number 6, perspective. This is how the writer looks at the situation. It shows the writer's attitude or opinion about the subject. It answers how does the writer feel, it means it's about perspective. Now, helping others makes our community stronger. In this particular example, the writer feels positive about making making the community stronger. So he likes or he favors the idea of helping others. Now, you ask, what identifies the particular type of technique? So here are the things that you can ask when it answers the following. So if the writer, you ask the question, what is the writer doing here? If it's giving details, That means it's, yes, yes, it's a description. Now, when it's making characters talk, it's dialogue. And when it's going back to the past, it's flashback. Now, when it's giving a hint or a clue about what may happen next or what will happen in the future, it's foreshadowing. And when it's controlling the speed of the story, if it's slow or fast, it's pacing. And when you see a certain opinion or attitude appear in the lines of the story, it's perspective. The writer's opinion and view or attitude shows in the script or in the story. Now, let us apply and identify the narrative technique used. So you will see a situation, we need to identify or apply what kind of narrative technique is used. The leaves rustled softly as the cool wind carried the smell of fresh rain. In this case, it's making us imagine and see the picture of how it is in that place. So it's a description. Don't worry, said Leo. I'll help you, replied Ben. So this is dialogue. Next, Maria remembered the first time she rode a bicycle with her father when she was 7 years old. So since Maria is remembering something in the past, it is flashback. Now, as Carlo left the house, he noticed a black cat crossing his path and heard thunder in the distance. In this case, it's a hint. It's foreshadowing. In some cultures, a black cat is a bad omen. Something bad will happen. And in this case, thunder is the indicator. Something will happen with the weather or something will happen that is bad to Carlo. Now, let's read. The thief grabbed the bag, jumped over the fence, ran across the street, and disappeared before anyone could stop him. So, this one is too fast. Everything happened very quickly. So, it's pacing. So, it's telling that the speed is fast. Let's now analyze the following situations. So, we will identify the narrative technique used in each situation. So, a story spends 3 paragraphs describing an old abandoned house before the main character enters it. Which narrative technique is mainly used? So, this one is describing. So, it's description. Next, a story begins with a student taking an exam. The next scene shows the student remembering how hard he studied the previous week. So this one, since it's going back to how she remembers studying, it's flashback. Next, you should never ignore your dreams. You have the power to change your future if you work hard. In this case, it's a perspective of supporting people in doing hard work. So it talks about the writer's perspective towards achieving the dreams. Now, the question is, what is the writer's perspective towards achieving the dreams? It's positive. The writer has a positive attitude towards achieving the dream. So he or she strongly supports it. So now let's have the challenge questions, which will allow us to check deeper understanding. So in each situation, we need to do what the question asks. If you were writing a horror story, which narrative technique would help make readers feel nervous before something scary happens? So, for you to make the readers nervous, you would need to make it frightening. So we will use foreshadowing. So you will give a hint to the readers that something exciting or scary will happen, or frightening will happen. Now, suppose your story contains many exciting action scenes. Which narrative technique should you adjust to make the story feel exciting? So if you want to make it exciting, of course you will use pacing. You will make it faster so it will be more exciting. Next. Which narrative technique do you think is the easiest to recognize? Why? Now, this particular question can be description or another type. A description easily tells what you see. It's most common. And another one is dialogue. When you see a name and then a thing that is said. So this may vary according to your opinion, but most commonly it's description and dialogue. Now, you are ready for the narrative quiz. This is where the slides end. Now, see you later in class for the quiz.